This is Ben Summer. I own and operate bandslikerush.com, a music discovery podcast and blog featuring up-and-coming progressive rock bands. Enjoy this video edition of the podcast and check out my own music. Visit my website at bensummer.com. If you sign up for the email list, you'll get 3 free downloads. Today I speak with a guy named Clutch, the guitarist and primary songwriter for the Colorado-based prog rock band Red Star Revolt. The music is really original. It's powerful and interesting progressive rock arrangements, mixing in a tad bit of kind of off the beaten path influences like psychedelic, hip-hop, and electronica music. It's good stuff. And today's podcast is a bit shorter than the last to allow for 2 full tracks from the band's latest self-titled album. So midway through we hear the song Prove Me Wrong, and then we close the podcast with the song Dementia. Save your strength, swallow your pride, let go. So this is Ben from bandslikerush.com. I'm here with Clutch from the Colorado-based band Red Star Revolt. Clutch, nice to have you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the band and your music?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with myself real briefly. I've been playing guitar about 20 years, and Rush is coincidentally the reason I started playing guitar. And it's a band that I've always liked with years. You know, I really liked Snake and Arrows, their last CD a couple of years ago, and a couple of the singles they released this year. So that was kind of my musical foundations, and then over time I've kind of sprung out into other interests. About 10 years ago, I joined a band called Shaft, which was a cover band, and you know, we did the cover circuit for a few years and kind of got burned out on that. And then over time, Aaron Nava, who was the singer in Shaft, and I ended up forming Red Star Revolt. And that was probably around 2007 that we started writing material. And we were interested in, you know, getting a little bit more progressive than we had been in Shaft, and, you know, getting a little more creative and hopefully a little bit more contemporary. So we didn't have any luck finding a drummer at the outset, so we just went ahead full steam and kind of wrote, you know, 12, 13 songs, and then started recording them. And then we found a drummer named Dino Cuneo who had a studio west of Denver, and he agreed to, you know, record the drum tracks at his studio. So finally, you know, I mean, the whole writing and recording process was kind of drawn out because we were going through some personal issues in our life. But in 2008, we released Red Star Revolt, our self-titled CD, and it was picked up by a European distributor, so that got us a little bit of buzz, at least among some of the European prog rock community, and some fairly positive reviews overall. And as far as playing and gigging in that, we've been focusing more in the Denver area. And towards the end of last year, Dino, who's a full-time musician and an excellent drummer, you know, he realized, although he was having a blast and really enjoyed the music he was playing with us, that monetarily speaking, there were other things he could get involved with his studio, and that would probably be more lucrative. So we parted ways amicably late last year, and then early this year hooked up with a drummer named Mike Covert, who's also a really awesome drummer, really talented guy. And we kind of depend on drums to be pretty propulsive, so we're kind of picky on that aspect. So we got him, and then the latest drama in the Red Star Revolt saga is that Aaron, who again was our vocalist and bassist, got a job offer in California. So he has just relocated out to LA, and will probably be out there for some time. So at this point, it's Mike and I here in Denver. We're continuing to write some new material, but we're not really gigging at this point.
Oh. So there's a Red Star...
So intrigue there, huh?
Yeah, Red Star counter-revolution going on, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So
that's one thing I would say about the name, Red Star Revolt. A lot of people think it's political or that, and at the time we just it sounded cool,
Yeah.
But if people read something into it and get interested based on it,
well, it's
more
not
power to them.
It's not that it's easy to do. Your cover art on the album is what's there's a name for that kind of communist era Soviet art, but it's
the original concept for the cover was to kind of, we wanted something that fit with the name, even though the name itself to us didn't mean anything. And so Red Star, you kind of think a lot of them in that. And so the original idea was to kind of have the Tiananmen Square photo where the guy is standing up against a column of tanks, and that we would replace that standing figure with like an old gramophone. So, the idea is music going against kind of the mainstream stuff that's being shoved down our throats on radio and that. Of course, that original photo from Tiananmen Square was copywritten in that, so we just kind of went with that general idea and had an original cover drawn up for that.
Let's take a break to listen to a track from the band. This is called Prove Me Wrong.
Drowned in the shit's long.
first of all, I don't have to tell the listeners this. I listened to several of your top tracks. It's awesome stuff. It's not just it's I can hear that you claim certain influences in your MySpace page, the classic prog rock gods, Rush, even the new ones like prog metal bands like Opeth. I hear all that, but it's not derivative in any way. It's real. It's a mix. It's well, it's too bad he lost Aaron because I think his vocals were tops, but I'm sure you'll find someone to match it. But anyway, just giving you kudos. It's really cool, all around interesting.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's always great to hear.
What are your talk me through? Why Rush got you started playing guitar, and what have you been into, and what, consciously or not, do you think influences your music now?
Well, when I was in high school, I saw all the kids around me were really into music, and I would try listening to pop radio and some of the cookie cutter, mostly pop stuff they were listening to, and just nothing interested me remotely. And it wasn't until one night I was just randomly flipping radio stations, and I heard Tom Sawyer, and it just literally gave me chills. This would have been a long time after Moving Pictures had come out, but it's always been one of their mainstay radio songs, and I just could not believe it. I mean, I couldn't even tell if the singer was a guy or a girl, and it was just I couldn't tell if it was the same band that did that Barracuda song. It was just like some high singing voice, but a really cool music. And over time I kind of heard a couple more songs of theirs, and the name of the band, and I was like, okay, I gotta find out who these guys are. So I had a stoner buddy. I was kind of always a straight arrow, but I had a stoner friend at high school who was like, oh yeah, Rush. So he copied a couple CDs for me, and I think he copied Moving Pictures and 2112. And so I was just like, every day when I got home from school, I was just like listening to those nonstop. And over time I just kind of would dig out some of their other material, and then I just after I was listening to 2112, I bought Hold Your Fire randomly. I didn't know anything about stylistically that these guys did other stuff besides kind of the more rocking stuff. But then to hear some synthesizer-based music and that really threw me for a trip. And I liked everything I heard, and I thought it was just such interesting music, but it was also a very cult thing. Most people in high school had never heard of them or knew who they were, and it was just kind of more the stoner kids who liked Metallica and that kind of stuff that also liked Rush.
Right.
So that's how I got into them, and over time I kind of got into other progressive bands like